Quick thing before we get into this tier list is at the end of the video, I end up going back through and ordering everything, and we have the A tier discussion in MK1. Alright, it is about time I do my revamped Mortal Kombat 1 tier list. A big reason for this is now that I'm in the mid 300s in my rank sets MMR ranking, I think I have a better understanding than I previously did on what characters are really strong and what characters are kind of buns. Buns isn't the right word. I don't think there are any truly bad characters, but there are characters that work harder than others. For this list, I will order top 5 and the top 6 through 10. I might order S, we'll figure it out as we go, and then we have A tier. Now, getting into the start of this list, we are going to start with Sub-Zero. At S, he's okay, he's not great, he's a little bit of everything. I think Sub-Zero definitely has a kit kind of like Reptile's where he gets to play a lot of different game plans, but he's kind of mediocre or average at each one. His clone isn't very good against half the matchups in the game. He doesn't really have the quickest mix in the game, and his damage is very average across the board. Some of his pros are he gets a armored launching wake up, so when he wakes up with armor, he gets a full combo, which is really nice. There's a whole bunch of cast members that do not get to do that. He is a decent mid, he has overhead and low mix-ups that he can combo off both of them. He's really good with the Lao setup, which helps him out a lot if you use Lao, especially using that overhead string. It's kind of nuts the vortexes you can get, and you'll see later in this tier list why Sub-Zero is S. Lao changes the game for a lot of trash characters. Next up, we have Mileena, and Mileena is going in S as well. Big problems for her. She has no full screen meterless projectile if you don't take Lao. And the big issue is Mileena is a top 5 fun character if you choose Scorpion. That's how you get all your damage, and yeah, are you gonna let go of Lao where you can definitely take space and go for the Vortex, which Lao again grants every character in the game a really nice Vortex, or are you gonna go for the higher damage combos, but now you can't special cancel any of your moves because everything for Mileena is unsafe, so you're just using her forward 1 mid, forward 144. It's a dial-in string. It's hard to tell if you've gotten it, especially online, so a lot of the times you're just doing straight up forward 1 and hoping you can react quick enough if it hits, which is really tough to do, and it's not even that fast for a mid that you need to confirm after 1 hit in most instances. On top of that, Mileena has a ranged down 1, but almost all her pokes are punishable. She does have the back 4 and the forward 4 mix-up with the overhead and low. Both do around 7 or 8% damage, which is really nice. I think the overhead actually does 11, but the sweep does 7. Her big strength is you go against people that don't know the matchup very well because they're not used to seeing the animations, so they get hit by the second hits on either the overhead string or the low string. That makes Mileena look top tier, but if you've seen it enough times and it's on good connection, you'll see in my videos in Road to Rank 1, I'm not getting mixed up by Mileena anymore. She just has to work pretty hard, so I'm putting her in S. Next in S, we have Nitara. I think Nitara is better than this, but I think if I put her any higher, I'm going to have a bunch of pitchforks coming after me in the comments, and I don't want that. I think she's incredibly strong. She has the highest practical damage in the game. Her biggest weakness is how low health she gets, but honestly, with how much they buffed up her healing pool, and then the fact that she synergizes so well with Serena, and she gets basically auto setups where she sucks away 1.5 bars to 2 bars of meter. It's actually nuts. This character full screen takes you from mid screen to the corner with a 47% damage combo, and then as she's finishing the combo, she sucks away a whole 1.5 bars, 2 bars of meter, depending on where she starts the combo from. Her big weaknesses is, yeah, you can combo off the sweep or the overhead. The overhead is just pretty reactable and good ping. I think in higher ping games, it's a way better move, but for me, you just kind of can block it more often than not. I think I played a Nitara a couple episodes ago for Road to Rank 1, and she didn't get me more than once with the overhead version, and it's not too hard to fuzzy guard. So that's why she's not top tier yet, but she's definitely strong. That buff to her healing helped her out a whole lot, and Serena is definitely like a sleeper pick. Everyone talks about Lao. Serena with Nitara at least, chef's kiss, because she can just run away. She can zone you out. With Serena on Nitara, she can back up and confirm full screen off Serena glaives because she has all that mobility in the air, which is nuts. That's why I think this is one of the few characters where Lao is not the best possible cameo. It's definitely Serena. Serena Nitara, a good Nitara is going to keep that space and basically make it as annoying as possible and just get the life lead, heal herself if she needs to, get a 47% combo, and you're done. Li Mei is one of the weirdest characters in the game because while she has good damage, has really good frames, it's a ton of gaps. So she's one of those matchup destroyers. Like if you're a noob, you will think it's never your turn against Li Mei. She gets an armored wake-up combo with Scorpion. Problem is that takes away Lao, but you can do it, so you get an armored launch, which is really, really nice. I think her big weakness is it's got to be annoying to be a Li Mei main because everyone's just going to down one on you on almost everything, and then if the player's more experienced, they're straight up going to jab interrupt a lot of your moves and get full combos off of you just for trying to hit your buttons. There's a lot of gaps with this character. I think if they, squeezed together the gaps a little bit, she would be much better and higher in the tier list. Also, though, we can't sleep on the fact that she gets a low overhead mix. She gets a projectile that's full screen. She can cover the air, so if you're going against Nitara, Li Mei's a great pick because she can just throw the lantern up, and now, yeah, you can't be up in the air above her. So she does have her strengths. Again, she's S tier, not A. Next up, we've got to go Havik. And Havik actually moved down the tier list for me. He's just, I don't know. Good players make him look really strong. And with Sub-Zero cameo on the character, he gets, 1150 health? He's a beefy mofo. He's just really resource dependent, so in matchups where the opponent gets a lot of mix-up combos and you're constantly needing breaker, because there are characters in the game where it is much better to save your meter for breaker than others, he kind of gets washed in a sense, because then when he's on offense, he can't do the things he wants to set up his game plan, so it's a weakness for him. I'd just also say he's too guess dependent, meaning the guesses for the opponent, if you're the Havik player, don't really lead to much either way. It's like a grab or a low, right? But the guesses for you as the Havik player suck because you're not doing much if it hits. But if the opponent just happens to duck the grab or block the correct way, you're eating huge combos. It's a little too much risk for how much reward you get, in my opinion, so I'm keeping him at S. He does have annoying projectiles, though. For some reason, Havik and Reiko's projectiles are really annoying. I know Reiko's you can duck under the non-amplified version, but both just kind of suck, and I bet you Nitara hates Havik projectiles because it, has that arc upwards. Next, we've got Reptile. And yes, you can cancel, I think it's not back forward 4, the one where he dashes past you. You can cancel that, which I didn't realize, or you can cancel out of the low ender one string. I don't play Reptile, I just see it happen. You cancel out of the end of that string into the dash across, and it does become a little bit of a mind game. I like it a lot. It was weird because for the first month of the game, I never saw a Reptile do that once. I think people didn't realize that could actually be special canceled. What saves Reptile from being bottom tier is that he has a good long range poke. He does have a decent mid string and he has decent range strings. You cannot down one against Reptile is a big thing. There's other characters in this list like Tanya that you can't down one against. So that's a big thing. You're definitely going to do well if your opponent is so used to down oneing on 90% of the cast. He gets good damage. He has some games. He can go invisible, but it's not the greatest. He's just, I don't know. I've always said this. He's a great beginner-friendly character. He'll teach you a lot about playing MK games, but he's not obsessively, that's not the right word, incredibly strong at any specific thing. He's much like Sub-Zero. He's just pretty well-rounded and average at everything. Next is Shao Kahn, and Shao Kahn is one of the biggest upgraded characters that I used to think was pretty bad. Everybody used to tell me in the comments I was wrong about Shao, and I'm gonna be honest with you, straight up, I never played a good Shao Kahn for about a month and a half. It's not saying the players were bad, but when I was playing, it just felt like the character was weak. I had no struggles ever in the matchup. I think I had only lost to one Shao Kahn, and I wasn't even playing Scorpion at the time. I was playing Mileena, so it just didn't feel that bad until I got to rank 700-ish on the ranked leaderboards. Yeah, Shao with 1150 health and Serena is nuts because he's doing 45% combos at all times. I'm a Scorpion main using Striker. Shao starts with 20% more health than me, and if I guess wrong on, say, a higher ping connection where it's harder to see it coming, I'm losing 45%, And he already has the 20% health advantage with Serena. So he can back up, zone me out, be really patient, and just win. It's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating, but he's not like S tier, or sorry, he is S, but he's not like top 10 in this game. It's just, yeah, he's better than I thought. So I apologize to all the General Shao mains. Kitana, we are throwing in S as well. Kitana's not as bad as I thought. Kind of goes along with the General Shao thing, but still to this day, I have not played a Kitana that has washed me or felt like the most amazing character ever. If it was up to me, she would still be pretty low, but I've now watched videos of Kitana mains doing all that jazz. The thing is, maybe my matchmaking is lucky, maybe I don't live in a region with a whole bunch of Katanas, but it hasn't happened to me yet, unlike General Shao, so I can see why she's better. I'm not even going to discuss it because I just watched videos on it. I have no personal dog in this fight because, again, it's never happened to me. Wherever these Katanas are, I might even just try and find one who's really, really good so I can see for myself what it feels like. Ooh, I have a spicy pick coming. Scorpion is near the top of S. Not the highest. I don't think he's the 11th best character, but I'm going to join all the non-Scorpion mains here and stop downplaying the character so much. I think he struggles. Don't get me wrong. Scorpion has really bad matchups against Johnny Cage. It's probably the most one-sided matchup in the entire game. He has bad matchups against Ashrah, has bad matchups against Tanya, mainly those three. He kind of holds his own versus Sindel and Kenshi, mainly because Kenshi and Sindel's strengths don't really conflict. They have their own crazy strengths. But yeah, he just has bad matchups up in the top tiers, but against the rest of the cast, he's a fine S character. I don't think he needs to be at the bottom. I think Striker really helps him out. And I think when Liu gets nerfed, Scorpion will be solidified for everyone near the higher side of S if Striker doesn't get nerfed. Because again, everybody's going to move to Striker if Liu gets nerfed. Or not everybody. It's going to open up the characters that want to have better combos with, say, Scorpion when Liu gets nerfed. But characters like Scorpion who need safety on back 3, spear, wake up armor, spin, Striker will just be even better in these matchups because you don't have to worry about the Liu low hat vortex. Yeah, Scorpion isn't perfect. He struggles against the toppest of top tiers, but he's a lot more fun than I used to think. It's definitely annoying. I see the comments that don't think it's the most fun spectating experience, but that doesn't mean the character isn't, unviable whatsoever. Next, we have Omni-Man. I think Omni-Man actually has slid down the tier list more than a lot of people. I know when he first came out, he did have a lot of these strengths, and they felt really, really strong, but he's gonna be on the chopping block when Liu hat gets nerfed. I think the Liu nerf would affect Omni-Man almost more than anyone. He does have stuff right now. The two mids are really, really good. The plus frames on his 1-2 are really, really nice. Obviously, his forward teleport is really, really strong, where he teleports like right behind the opponent. I just think now that we know the matchup pretty well, he just isn't the absolute strongest. And I think I'm making a pre-call out here that he's going to drop a whole bunch with, the Liu nerfs, because think about it, you can't use this back forward 4 overhead really anymore. His forward 2 overhead becomes much harder to hit, because again, you used to just throw Liu hat on the ground, have it delayed, so you could not be punished for either of those. On top of that, his forward 4-1, his longer range, slower mid, that one, you could just option select into the Liu hat, and if it hit and go into Liu, you could still combo. Yeah, that'll be gone probably because, I don't know, you just won't have Liu hat to throw every single time, whether it's blocked or hits. Yeah, he's gonna change up a whole ton, I think. Next is Kung Lao. Kung Lao would actually go somewhere near the bottom. I'm not ordering S. I'll give like general spots. Liu is annoying, but he's really gimmicky. I think the better the ping is, the worse Liu gets. I think his strengths of having an armored launching wake up is really his only strength. His mids aren't very good. They're okay, they're just not amazing. At least he synergizes a bit with Kung Lao, but the problem is you want Goro if you want those armored wake ups that you can grant into plus frames if it's all blocked. So you kind of stuck trying to pick between Liu hat and Goro, and it's just a hard pick. I think he runs into the same issue as Mileena. He has to one-hit hit confirm on all his mids, and then he has no safe special moves, so you're kind of into an issue where you want Goro to keep yourself safe and get you frames, but then you don't get Lao Hat, where, say, the overhead, you can really easily launch with the low Lao Hat. He's just alright. He's not great. He's more annoying. If you're in a match with over 100 ping, that character feels like a top 5 character. Near the top side of S, we would put Baraka. A lot of people, like Sonic Fox included, put Baraka way lower. It's immediately been proven wrong. In all the online tournaments, Barakas are crushing it. We have Tweety crushing it. We have other online Barakas crushing it. I think out of some of these major tournaments, there's been 2 or 3 Barakas winning it all in like the last 2 weeks. This character is still strong. It's a mix-up that can be comboed off of both ways, that is safe, has a good mid. His mid is the only weakness he has because it's unsafe no matter what you do, which option. Just raw back 3, that's unsafe. Back 3-2, I believe, the one where it just overheads at the end, or it's mid-mid, that one's unsafe. And then the final one that launches, you can duck the second hit for a full punish. So that does suck, but we have cameos to cover that. And then he gets a projectile that's full screen. He gets throw combos with some cameos. He gets enough. I don't think he's that bad. He gets good damage still. It's not the greatest damage, don't get me wrong, but still good damage, a good armored wake up. I think all around he's a solid character. I think he was tuned correctly into the right spot, and Baraka mains just kind of got screwed over because other characters like Johnny Cage and Kenshi and Raiden even didn't get quite the same level of tuning. Next, I'm going to put... This is where it gets tricky for me. I think I'll put Rain in S. Rain is near the top of S for me, but I understand without Cyrax, this character is a little worse. Not like incredibly worse, but he isn't quite as dirty, so I think top of S makes the most sense for Rain. Oh, this is tough. I'm between 2 characters being at the very top of S, like a for sure 11th place spot, and I don't know who it is, so let me place them here. It is either Smoke or Shang. I'm leaning towards putting Smoke in top 10 over Shang, and then have Shang sit at guaranteed 11th. This is a tough one, because if you go into any social media, you either think Smoke is for sure top 10, or you don't think Smoke is top 10. There isn't really anybody I see in betweens like it depends on the player or the ping or the matchup. No, there are people that think this character is near top 5 being Smoke or is like 15th best. I think I'm going to go with what I would put, and we're going to put Smoke in 6 out of 10 at the 10th place spot, and Shang will sit, Shang will sit at the very top of S in the 11th place spot. Shang will always be a little worse because he's blind going into every single Combat League set without knowing the main character. It was better in MK11 where, yeah, you got to see exactly what your opponent chose, decide, okay, am I comfortable with Shang and stealing the soul of this character that I'm playing against? Shang just has to go in blind. You might enter into a matchup you're not quite as good in, or where stealing the soul isn't very helpful for you. And at that point, nobody can switch mains, so you're just stuck doing it. So I'll leave him 11th, and then Smoke at the top of 10th. Smoke gets a lot of damage. He has good mix-ups. He synergizes well with Serena, so it gives him the projectile he needs. He can definitely play the range game, especially with the back 2 overhead, and he's just pretty strong. He has launchers all over the place. He's got good buttons. I think if you get the cancels down, I think that's imperative that you get all the cancels down, whether that be the teleport cancel, the dash cancel, back forward 3 cancel, that one. You just need to make sure all of those are on point, and then also always use your invisibility. You should be spending meter all the time as Smoke and going invisible. That's what makes him so strong. That's what nearly got Smoke pre-patch Cyrax, by the way, and all the characters pre-patch. That's what got Smoke to literally was about to be in the top 4 or top 3 going against Ninja Killa and Sonic Fox. Only reason the Smoke player didn't make it, a dropped combo, which sucks. He had King Gambler beat. King Gambler's Johnny Cage just dropped the combo by accident and then readied up too quickly and lost the final game, even though he was about to take it if he lands the combo. Next, I'm gonna actually put Geras right here in front. I think that's a decent spot. I'm between Geras and Reiko being here, I think. I'm trying to look at this list. Know what? This is tough. This is really, really tough. I think I have it right here. Geras is tough. Geras is super matchup dependent. If your character cannot easily stop Geras from calling in the hourglasses, you are in for a rough day. That character feels like at least 6th best character in the game. If you can't stop it, say you're Scorpion, for example, you can literally teleport onto him, especially if you're in the air. Because a lot of times, if I jump backwards at Scorpion, oh, that's a great time to set up an hourglass. No, I get a full combo. If I have Fatal Blow, I'm doing 50% damage. So it's super matchup dependent, which is why I'm not going to put him any higher. Plus, the character gets much worse when Lao gets nerfed, especially because he has the option select forward 4 combo, the one where he like triple hits low. That one will go away when Lao Hat gets nerfed. So I think I have it right. Reiko is just all around solid. I think it's hard to put Reiko any lower because he has a toolkit that nobody else has. The mid command grab is nuts. I know it takes a bar a meter. He can play everywhere pretty well. His neutral is strong because he has the farthest reaching down 4, down 3. I don't know which button it is. The farthest one in the game, has projectiles to back it up that he can also spend the bar to make mid. And then when he gets in, he's getting his damage. Then you're guessing for a ton of health because yeah, he's got a mid command grab and you better jump. And then you're sitting there jumping. He just makes it a mess for you, and he gets full combos. I think he's good. He's all around solid. Maybe Rewind makes this character look better, and because Rewind went through and played Reiko all this time, maybe he's being carried up the tier list. But to me, that's where I would put him. Next, we have Liu Kang. Liu Kang is definitely here. You could swap Liu Kang probably anywhere in the top 10, depending on the matchup, but great throw combo, has really good projectiles without needing a cameo, synergizes with Lao well, does great damage, can be played pretty easily. He's got the forward 4 mid, which is strong. You're going to see it over and over and over. The only thing that's easy is flawless blocking to stop the plus frames, and then it's actually a full punish. Then the launching mid is pretty good. He has the fastest high attack in the game. He has a 6-frame jab. That is the highest in the game. That is as fast as Johnny Cage's down 1, which is 6 frames, which is fast for pokes. So yeah, Liu Kang gets the fastest high punish in the game, meaning Liu Kang might be one of the only characters to punish some moves in the game. So he gets punishes that nobody else gets. He's just a solid character. Again, you could place him kind of anywhere in the top 10 if it was matchup dependent, but I think right there in 7th place feels pretty good. Raiden goes in 6th for me. Raiden's strategy is clearly better online. I think if this was an online only tier list, he would be top 5. He uses Kano knives and jacks to essentially just be annoying the entire match and doing, the dive across the screen. Then of course the electric sphere around him is still one of the strongest special moves in the game that a lot of cameos can combo with, so definitely annoying. There's not much to talk about. He gets some mix-ups, which are nice. He gets a good mid. He gets good attacks in general. He does a lot of damage. But it's really about the special moves and the throws and the setups with the cameos. So that's where I'd put him. And the big one that everyone's probably talking about if you've seen all my other tier lists is, yes, Tanya made it into my top 5. I used to think this character was really bad, until I got into the higher ranks, especially when I got into top 500. Yeah, she is the Jade of this game. I'm not saying Ashrah and others don't feel like the Jade of this game, but she can backdash on everything. She essentially can just backdash on all her negative frames unless you yourself are playing another top tier like either Kenshi or Ashrah with really long reaching mids or normals. Yeah, just backdash out of everything. On top of that, she gets an armored launcher. That's incredible. She's getting full armored combos. Against Scorpion, she can, with her drill dive kick, she can punish spear, back 3, all of that full screen. And then when you throw striker nades, she low profiles the striker nades. That's another big thing. She gets a small hitbox, so striker is not as good. The one cameo you're going to need to stop her is probably Lao. She's got great damage, good mind games. Her strike throw is really, really good with that string. She kind of just can use that string over and over again and backdash sometimes. She can come in for more pressure sometimes. She can poke to jail you if you try and hit something, too bad. She's just a strong character. I'd put her in top 5 at this point. You guys have seen it in the other Road to Rank 1s on Xbox at least. 2 of the top 5 players in the ranked leaderboards are Tanya players, including the number 1 ranked Xbox player currently. So yeah, I hate going against that character. She's really strong. Sindel herself is not better than these 3 characters, but she has the best Lao vortex in the entire game. 100%. Hers is basically guaranteed because unlike the other characters, she gets float, which grants her enough time to go through an entire round never not having Lao hat. So it is a true 100% vortex if you guess wrong every single time. So it makes sense that she's in the top 4, because Smoke and MKX, Cyborg Smoke, same thing, except even less damage on the vortex. I'll just go ahead and put her 4th, but if Sonic Fox is playing Sindel at the next tournament, probably 1. It's really all the vortex. I mean, she has great things otherwise, but if you just get into the vortex setup, good luck, especially online. You're guessing between an overhead load that's probably a frame difference, and then with float, she covers delayed wake up, it breaks armor because you hit on the very first frame, she gets Lao hat endlessly, she never runs out during all her combos. Yeah, she's really strong. Next, I'm putting Ashrah in 3rd. Ashrah just has great plus frames, chips you out to no end. I think if they were going to nerf Ashrah at all, just nerf her chip, because you don't realize how much chip she's done until she does a 35-40% combo, and then you realize you only have 20% health left, because you've been eating so much long range normal, and then the plus range special move projectile. You've been eating all that chip the entire round. She gets the overhead and low. She gets to keep herself safe. She goes up into the air. Yeah, it's really, really nice. There's ways to counter it all, don't get me wrong, but she's really strong. Having the best plus frames in the game in a 2D fighter is just hard to not be top 5. Johnny Cage is the best all-around character. If Reptile and Sub-Zero have average levels of everything, Johnny Cage gets everything, and he's amazing at everything. The only thing he doesn't have is a projectile, and so just put on Lao, or put on Striker. You get a projectile all of a sudden. Yeah, he has the fastest mid in the game, fastest 2 mids in the game, one of which launches, the other which one is hit confirmable, 9 frames, and it has 2 hits, so you can hit confirm. He gets mix-ups, he gets the hype meter to go do 65% combos, he just gets everything in the game. He has the fastest poke in the game with the 6 frame down 1. He's got really good range pokes. I could go on and on about this character, man. He's just really strong. I'm missing things. I already know it. Oh, can't forget the 1 frame amplified parry, which who thought a 1 frame parry was a good idea? Just the parry in general. He can shadow kick punish almost everything in the game. I mean, Scorpion literally can't do anything anymore. And then lastly, oh no, not even lastly, yeah, it could go on and on. He has 3 different fatal blow interactions. It's just a regular hit, it becomes unblockable, it's a parry. He has even more, he can cancel out of it. It's just, he's nuts. And then lastly, actually, no, 2 more things. I can't stop with this character. His jump 3 hurt box, in terms of hitting Johnny Cage, is almost impossible to anti-air him. I don't know what's wrong with it. They should probably adjust that just a little bit. He's the only character with that weird wonky jump kick hitbox, and then he low profile strike grenades, which is why you see a lot of Scorpions using Lao against him, not Striker, because he low profiles it, and a lot of your strings anyways, he's just gonna parry out of it. So when Ghost is on screen, Kenshi is the best character in the game. I'm excited for when Sonic Fox finally uses Kenshi in tournament. I have a sneaking suspicion Sonic hasn't used Kenshi yet, because Sonic doesn't want Kenshi to be nerfed. I don't know. Hot take maybe? I think that could be it. Who knows? But yeah, it's endless block pressure into mix-ups while doing it. Can reset you into 100% damage kind of setups, it feels like. And then the big thing that everyone's talking about, if Kenshi whiffs a grab, so say you're full screen and you get Ghost to take a break by, hitting Ghost, Kenshi, all he has to do is whiff a grab and it comes back. It's definitely a bug, but until it's patched out, he can keep Ghost on screen the entire round. He resets the cooldown by whiffing a grab. It's wild. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure there's YouTube videos or go to Twitter. It's busted, so definitely number 1 in the game. I think this is how I would order everything when all's said and done. You can let me know what you think in the comments. I think my descriptions of characters are way more important than where I individually rank them, because some characters, you know, say a set of 3 in a row, could be super close, but this is just a personal preference on where I'd place them. Reptile is definitely one of the hardest falling characters for me, alongside Mileena, and then yeah, we have General Shao jumping up, Scorpion, and Nitara in my tier list at least. The big A tier discussion. I didn't put a single character in A tier. That's not to say there aren't main characters that are A tier in this game, because there are, but to me, there can be no A tier characters because of Kung Lao cameo. Using the low hat, you're essentially given a vortex for every single character on the roster. So an overhead low, 1-frame mix, yeah, it might not be as good as Sindel's, but you get that, and then on top of that, you can always cancel into low hat, and many of the cast members, you know, get extra stuff with that. You know, they can option select it, all sorts of things. I just think you can't have an A tier with Kung Lao cameo. It's too good. Everyone gets a mix-up that leads into insane damage. All you need is one hard knockdown with any character, and you can go for it. Once Lao gets nerfed, I'm sure we'll come back and do another one of these. What I'm really interested to see is if Serena or Striker get touched as well, because then Goro would be by far the strongest. We have no clue. Depending on how many cameos they touch, it's really up in the air. What NRS decides will decide our fate.